Pottery is the craft of people who manage to conquer clay and make it into an art form. This is a technological process, the integral part of which is love. Love of the world that surrounds a potter, a passion for hard work, and love of the people for whom he creates his works. This is magic done with the help of three forces of nature: earth, water, and fire. Pottery emerged in Hutsul in the late 18th to early 19th centuries. Kosiv, Pistin, and Kolomia were the centers of fig tile art, because the outskirts of these towns were abundant in clay deposits. In the 19th century, Kosiv was one of the largest regional trading towns. Merchants came there from all over the world. When they sold out all their goods, they bought new ones made by local inhabitants in order to resell them. Kosiv ceramics was one of the most popular goods of those times. They were more often used as decorations or tableware. Cupboards in the private houses of wealthy local people were decorated with ceramic plates and tureens. Production of Dutch oven tile held a separate place in the making of ceramic wares. This art form became popular in the whole world. Probably the name of Alexa Bakhmatyuk is familiar to every art connoisseur. He was a simple rural potter who lived in the outskirts of Kosiv in the 19th century. Alexa Bakhmatyuk. It is known that the father of Alexa Bakhmatyuk came to Kosiv from central Ukraine and settled there. He enrolled his son Alexa into a school of the famous master of ceramics Baranuk. The talented boy not only reached the experience level of skill of his teacher, but even surpassed him. Alexa Bakhmatyuk was engaged mainly in producing Dutch tile. He also made other ceramic items, but he is more well known in the ceramic arts as a master of Dutch tile. In 1880, Alexa's ceramic works were displayed at the exhibition of folk crafts in Kolomia. It just so happened that Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph personally attended this exhibition. He was really impressed with the mastery of Alexa Bakhmatyuk, so he asked the master to put an oven for his imperial palace in Vienna. Citizens of the capitals of European states learned about the ware made by Kosiv masters. A Hutsul tile stove is an interior item that highly impressed researchers of this craft. This was a very unique piece of furniture, as different plots of people's lives were painted on every glazed tile, and it was inadmissible to put the same plots on one stove. As a rule, religious theme drawings were put on the top of the stove, under a hidden flue. Among the drawings were the images of Saint Nicholas, Saint George the Dragon Slayer, and even the Blessed Virgin Mary, churches and bell ringers. Different plots from the life of Hutsuls and their worldviews were painted lower. On these stoves, one could also see images of mythological Carpathian animals. Some researchers of this art form called a Hutsul stove a primer for children, because while looking at this masterpiece, they could immerse into some magical and illusory world of fantasy. In Carpathian mythology, Blood is a wood spirit and helper of the main wood spirit, Leshi. Blood is a so-called metamorphic spirit who could turn into a dog, cat, bird, owl, and even a haycock, a woman, and light in the thickets of a forest. Sometimes the spirit turned into a girl and lured boys to a ravine. so it is impossible to recreate an exact portrait of this fairy tale character due to the ability of blood to take various shapes.
Хтось каже, бачить в ньому кота, хтось в нього бачить білку.
Someone sees him as a cat, someone as a squirrel, and someone else said that he looked like a dragon. He appeared only at the moment when a mat did damage to or entered some territory where he was not welcome.
Людина шкодила лісу, або коли вона заходила на територію, куди їй не треба було заходити.
You can save yourself from blood only by praying or waiting until sunrise. Blood is not exactly an evil or a good spirit. If you promise to give him money, bread with cheese or gruel, blood could walk a stray person home, and sometimes he helped honest and kind people who showed their respect for the gifts of nature.
Характерна особливість косівської кераміки в тому,
Another unique feature of Kosiv ceramics lies in the fact that every master has his own painting style. It is enough to look at one work and say exactly who made it. The shape of the ceramic ware dictates what kind of picture should be painted.
Форма завжди диктує малюнок.
Sometimes you look at the thing and understand, I want to paint flowers here, or I want to paint a plot here.
А тут мені хочеться сюжет, а тут так, а тут так.
The drawing comes from the depth of the heart and soul. It is unique because it conveys the emotions of the master at that moment. But reminiscence of the centuries-old experience of Carpathian pottery can be traced in unique and a famous technique. Contemporary Hutsul ceramics has a unique technical feature of decorative solutions. This is essentially a successful combination of line patterns and color painting of images. A general light background is widely used as the basis for contour or line painting. Due to the outline drawing technique, folk masters decorated their ceramic works with geometric and floral ornaments. At the beginning of the 19th century, Hutsul masters started using methods of wood processing in pottery. This is decorating an object together with an outline. This method has its own long history in the processing of horn, bone, metal, and wood. This technique was skillfully introduced in pottery by Kosiv masters. Images and paints particularly stand out on such a background. The most popular method of decorating of a potter's ware was painting of dots and lines over the surface of the object. After the lines have been scribed, masters covered them with brown paints. It is applied exactly at the stage of painting when the object is still raw. Brown paint is none other than red clay that has a higher iron content.
З більшим вмістом заліза.
After applying the paint, the object must completely dry for 4 to 5 days. Then the ware passes through the first burning stage. Masters say the word honchar derives from horna, hidden furnace, and charuvanya, bewitching of the furnace. And only after that we cover the object with yellow or green paint. Pottery is one of the most difficult and fastidious crafts. To a certain degree, success in this sphere of craftworks depends on knowledge of the secrets of burning, because fire can spoil the object and then a potter's hard work will be absolutely in vain.
Зелена фарба – це окис, базується на окисі міді, а жовта фарба –
Green paint is made of copper oxide, while yellow paint is iron oxide. It is difficult to find these two types and tones of paint in hardware stores. This paint is used to paint sgraffito. It must be made of copper oxide. Every master made it himself, and any master will not share the secret of how it is made. For example, we can recognize Bakhmatuk style by the color shade, while we can only recognize our style by color. Every master has his shade of green, manner of painting, drawing, shape, and color. Yellow and green paints dry very quickly.
Кожну річ, коли робиш її повільніше, коли робиш
Sometimes it takes a long time to make an object, but sometimes it can be made at a pace that is convenient for a potter. In any case, you put your heart into the object you are creating. I put my heart into each salad bowl and each plate, even if I decorate 12 similar plates. I put my experience and love into every object. A master should never start work when he's in a bad mood. All the objects have to be made in a good humor, to good music, and in a warm atmosphere. The wear has to be done with love, and if you put your love into it, people will feel it. They will take your work in their hands and will feel the positive energy that your masterpiece exudes. The makitra, or earthenware pot, is glazed. The drying process lasts 1 day. The objects finally pass through the second burning phase. The required temperature inside a stove has to be about 1,000 degrees. Our makitra is put into a stove, where it will stay until the next day when it has fully dried. It takes a master a month and a half to create a new, perfect and unique masterpiece of ceramic art. The pottery of Hutsul is a small part of the whole historical layer, which dates back to the days of old. This is an attempt to understand more than the millennial history of the ceramics processing technique, which has been preserved to the present day. This is a wish to show how ancient and unique this technique is, the path it has gone along, and how many generations of potters convey their main message through ceramics. The art of Hutsul ceramics has preserved to this day numerous art forms, ornaments, and processing methods that resulted in the establishment of a monumental school of art painting on clay, one of the most brilliant pearls of Ukrainian folk art.